feeling like I'm Akademiks. Can't ride away.
Okay. Right, now yesterday we did cover Allstar JR, who he's actually now charged with gun possession after the Houston restaurant shooting. The feds are claiming that he stood over NBA Ben 10, and is actually, as pictured here, Ben 10 is blurred out, and he supposedly shot him point blank range. He was later picked up by the feds in Detroit on the way to a Vlad TV interview, which was supposedly, according to Vlad, going to be a virtual interview because he was back in Detroit. Now, some people are saying that he was already on the run, which complicates stuff, but a lot of people are speculating, why did he get picked up? Because if the story is as how we think it is, it's NBA Ben 10 and others. They try to rob this guy while he's having dinner with a young woman. They try to take his chains. Clearly, you look at him, he doesn't have chains on his neck. It looks like the chains were confiscated. Doesn't have a watch. Look like all his jewelry is confiscated. However, despite all that, he is seen on video having a gun and shooting at NBA Ben 10. Now, the relevant information here is the injuries that happen. They're saying that he returned to the injured man. Okay. It says, according to investigators, surveillance video shows Ford inside the restaurant before the group approached him, leading to the confrontation. During the altercation, they say several people appeared to grab his necklace and watch. So we don't see him with the necklace and watch, which means they took it, escalating the situation. At some point, which, by the way, I think this is how you would describe a robbery, right? So he clearly got robbed. At some point, a handgun fell to the floor during the fight. Investigators say Ford picked it up and began firing as people ran. One man collapsed after being shot while others fled to the elevator. Authorities says Ford continued firing, including additional shots in the direction of another person who was running away. He says the complaint alleges that he returned to the injured man and fired additional rounds at close range while he was lying on the floor. They say he later pointed the gun again. So it looked like this was probably the kill shot, the execution shot, maybe to the head or so. But they said he was out of ammunition. The court documents also alleges he struck the man with the handgun and he spit on him before leaving. So he pistol whipped, it appears, Ben 10, and he spit on him before he left. Authorities said a third person believed to be a bystander was also shot but suffered non-life-threatening injuries. Hospital officials told investigators that one of the injured victims had his finger amputated due to a gunshot wound. So somebody got their finger shot off. And he suffered severe leg injuries. And said another victim, as of April 15th, did not have feeling in his leg. Jeremy Ford actually fled the scene in a white Cadillac Escalade before the officers arrived, which leads people to believe that he never spoke to police. And that's why people are saying that that's why he's getting charged, because if you did, granted, he shouldn't have a gun because he's the felon, but if you defended yourself, and, this happened in Houston, part of Houston's stand your ground law is, it's an interesting thing where, yes, you're not supposed to pick up a gun or not have a possession of a gun, but if it's seen under I forgot what the phrase is, which means all actions that happen after the initial crime is basically only blamed on the person who started the initial crime. So him having the gun during a stand your ground defense or self-defense potential situation is not gun possession, because indeed that was only created by him getting robbed. So the sequence of events actually disallow him from having or getting charged with gun possession. However, remember, he fled the scene. So he never stayed. He never talked to the cops. And a lot of people believe that not only was he on the run because he had a warrant for some other stuff, this was his way. This is why he probably got picked up, because the feds do need a statement. Let me see if I could find him. Let's see if I can find him on the inmate lookup. Still can't find him. Interesting. Still can't find him. That's kind of interesting. Give me one more second. Now we get to find out he wasn't picked up in California. It was picked up in Michigan. Yeah. Okay, we did find him. Okay. We did find him, chat. Okay. Yep, we found him. We found him, chat. Give me 1 second. I'm going to put it on the screen in 1 second. Why is that like so fucking... Give me 1 second. Sorry, chat. I'm seeing if we could pull a mugshot, but I don't think we're there yet. Oh, okay, we do have it. Okay, we do have it. Yeah. So all right, so he is locked up currently in the what is this called? He's locked up in Sanilac County. Not too sure what county that is, but give me 1 second. It's gonna pop up here in a second. Okay, here we go. All right, here we go. And yeah, so this is he was arrested. He was arrested April 23rd, or at least, custody status date. So never mind. Well, yeah. So he was booked yesterday. Was it yesterday? I thought it was booked the day before, but anyway, it was booked yesterday, officially. It's by the feds, so he's just being held there until he gets transferred to a federal facility, because this is not a federal facility at this time. But he got booked here, and what type of mugshot they take where it's like the side of your head? What the fuck? Anyway, so he is locked up. The thought is that they're trying to get a statement out of him on what happened, because he just ran. Yo, why'd you shoot the nigga? Right now, pretty much on tape, it's kind of obvious. He was getting robbed. That's why he shot him. But maybe the feds need his statement to affirm that he got robbed, to basically then charge Ben 10 and others who actually robbed him. So some people feel like they're just leveraging this particular charge just to get him to, to give a name. I've seen a few people talk about it. I've seen a few people. Who spoke about that? There was somebody who spoke about it. It was like basically, yo, he's literally getting charged that he could give a statement that gets the other guys locked up. You get what I'm saying? But he is in custody, and currently it appears that Ben 10 is not in custody. Hold on. Allstar JR. There's some more pictures. And I'm going to try to see if I could pull I'll try to see if I could pull the actual not indictments, a complaint at this point. But it looked like that boy was getting busy with that gun, man. I want to show you. Oh, I think Finesse 2 Times said it. Here we go.
I heard that the Allstar Junior nigga got locked. The Fed for a pistol case. I'm gonna be real though. He gonna beat that shit. And if he don't beat it, he ain't gonna get no more than 2 years, a year and a half. He'll be out there motherfucker in some months, 9 months, 10 months, 11 months. Y'all gotta understand, he still defended himself. The only reason why the feds getting him is because one, they ain't talked to him. He left the scene.
Yeah.
2, he turned the feds by basically not like making songs and popping shit and getting booked and doing interviews and not talking to them. Like, and not like they want him to make a statement. He want to be a real nigga and not make a statement. But you gotta understand, like in the streets, like when I was coming up, all like Yo Gotti songs, like all the gangster niggas, and they songs they let it be known. If a nigga come to my house, if I gotta defend myself, I'ma smack you and call the laws. See, niggas be too prideful. Like sometimes you gotta stop what you doing. Like my life ain't nothing about 2 things, man. Freedom and living. You can't do shit if you ain't free. You can't do shit if you ain't alive. You gotta be able to think though.
Yeah. Exactly. I'm trying to see. Why is this not? Give me 1 second. I'm trying to pull the complaint. That's the thing. Yeah, so I actually agree with Finesse 2 Times on this. I agree with Finesse 2 Times. So I think they're leveraging that for him to give a statement. And now everyone thinks the statement is on some Gucci Man shit. Like, oh, he robbed me. Or these are the guys who beat me up. I think all they need him to say is that I was being attacked. I don't know the guys who did it. Now, granted, his music is kind of pointing like do the Ben 10. Like, I get that. That's kind of like already identifying who it is. But I think he could just tell the feds, just like I think Gucci could have just told the police, hey, yeah, somebody did something and stole my chain. And, you know, supposedly this is the loophole to not being called a snitch. You just have to say you don't know the guys. Like, I know who did it, but it happened. Right? So, yeah, give me 1 second. I'm trying to pull this thing. But yeah, he's for sure locked up. Give me 1 second. Why is this not working? He showed up to court. I'm just trying to. So in the docket information. Oh, I didn't show the pictures. So in the docket information, we're gonna see the complaint that's gonna have like the full breakdown of what they know at this moment, what's being alleged. Here's the additional pictures that we didn't see, but these pictures look like this nigga was getting busy with the gun. Y'all got to see this. Look at this. So this is him. This nigga was like John Wick. This is him here. He's blowing here. He's shooting here. He's shooting here. Yo, he's just standing over blood. Oh my God. This is intense, huh? This is intense. Look at all these pictures. I ain't gonna lie to you, if I was him, this is like a great album cover. Like, you know, just keeping it a bean. If I'm him, this is my album cover. This is my album cover right here. My album cover gonna be like this, straight up. Obviously, I think what he did wrong though, you gotta wait until you actually beat the case before you jump out like this. Like you can't really, like he was doing the most before beating the case. Vlad actually spoke about what actually happened because Vlad was coordinating with him while he was on the way, and then Vlad stopped hearing from him because he got arrested.
There's been rumors that he was picked up by the feds yesterday, if I'm correct, and the blogs are reporting that he was on his way to California to do an interview with you.
Well, he was on his way to do an interview with Vlad TV, but not in California, in Detroit. So we had, the last couple of days, we had talked to Allstar JR. I think you were involved in the process.
I was.
In terms of booking him to do an interview to talk about the whole situation. So we set a date, we set a time. It was going to be in Detroit. I wasn't going to be there. It was going to be remote.
True.
Right? So in that case, I try to do interviews in person, but I don't always get to do it. So in that case, it was going to be a remote interview. So earlier that day, we had a conversation about some of the topics that we're going to cover in the interview. And the conversation wasn't taped. So if the feds want any level of cooperation from me, I'm already not cooperating. Right. I'm going to be pleading the fifth. I always protect my guests. I have a long history of this. If you look at, for example, the Keefe D situation, Las Vegas PD tried to get all my raw footage. I refused. There's a Jimmy Henchman situation where they wanted my footage. I also refused. I would lawyer up and I would fight situations like this. So I'm not cooperating on any level, and I'm not going to talk about what we talked about in our phone conversation. But the whole thing was we were setting up an interview for later that day. It was supposed to be at 7 o'clock Detroit time.
Yes, that's true.
So the studio was booked. My man Mafi set it up. You were involved in the process as well. Everyone was excited to do it. 7 o'clock rolls around. I'm hitting up Mafi. Yo, what's going on? Where's he at? Oh, and he's going to be there at 7:15. And he actually forwarded me a text message, which we'll show on the screen, from Allstar J, saying he's running a little bit late. It's going to be 7:15. All right, cool. 7:15 comes around, nothing. 7:30, 7:45. Now we're not even getting an answer from him. 8 o'clock rolls around. I'm like, well, I guess we're going to cancel. You know, we gave a 1 hour grace period. I don't know whether he got cold feet or something happened, but at the end of the day, he didn't show up, so we canceled. And then I think maybe about an hour after that, I get a text from Mafi from Allstar JR that said that the feds picked him up, which is horrible. It's a horrible situation. But I could tell you that I had absolutely nothing to do with that situation. If the feds wanted to pick him up, they probably would have waited once he got to the interview location.
Right.
And if they wanted more info out of him, they could have just waited for the interview to be done.
Well, the fact of the matter is they didn't know what the interview location was. That was all proprietary information that existed between yourself and him, Mafi, and I.
Yeah. Yeah, I had no idea any of this was happening. It's a messed up situation, but I am not working with the feds. I did not cooperate with the feds. I had no involvement in this. We had already booked the studio. I was looking forward to doing the interview, and then this situation happened. And a lot of these like blogs are saying, you know, Allstar JR arrested on his way to a Vlad TV interview, and kind of implying that somehow I had something to do with it, and I could tell you that I had absolutely nothing to do with it.
And some of the blogs are even saying that he was on his way to California.
He was not on his way. No, he was not
as
on
if
his
he
way
was
to
arrested
California.
on his way to the airport to come to see you.
No.
None of that is
He was
true.
already in Detroit, and he was on his way to a Detroit studio that we had already booked.
Right.
And even the studio was hitting us like, yo, what's going on? And we're like, we don't know. We have no idea.
So let me ask you a question, Vlad.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think that people are constantly and consistently trying to label you as a cooperative in some way solely because you're interviewing people? Is, in my mind, it's not your fault. Your job as a content creator and as a journalist, right? And I'll use the word journalist because that is essentially what you are and what you have been for over 2 decades. Why do you think people blame you for, or because the people you interview may say something that may be incriminating about something that they were involved with or something that somebody else was involved with? Why do they constantly blame you versus putting the onus of responsibility on the people who you're interviewing?
Well, I think that I was the first person in this space to start asking the hard questions that hip-hop media historically has always been scared to ask. So
I don't think it's a hard question. I think Vlad will just be like, so you got shot that night, right? What happened? Like, that's not a hard question. It's like, bro, like, we just don't ask those questions. So that night, your homeboy died. What did you do with the gun? Like, yo, we got it. Like, yo, Vlad funny as hell, man.
So if you look at my interviews from 2008, I think I did an interview with Plies, and he was like, yo, man, are you the police? Like, this was back in 2008.
Well, I tell you, this is police shit.
Be like, yo, somebody in the chat said, yeah, your mom died that night. So, so your mom got killed that night. Yeah, it's an unsolved murder. So take me through the events. Where were you at 7:00? Like, Vlad is gonna ask some shit that it feels like an investigation.
Hey, Russell, don't you send nobody over here, man. Do some police interrogation shit. I'm telling you.
Because the way I looked at it was, if you're going to sit down with somebody, why ignore the elephant in the room?
Right.
If this person's whole persona is built on this gangster image, why not talk about that? If all their songs are about this, if all the stuff they're doing on social media is about this and everything else like that, why not ask about it? Now, I'm very careful about the way that I do ask about it. So people like to say I'm the feds and all my interviews end up getting men arrested and so forth. The only time I've ever heard of my interview being used in someone's case was the Keefe D situation, right? That trial hasn't even started yet.
Right.
So that's not even confirmed.
Right.
But in that case, Keefe D wrote a book about his involvement in the Tupac murder, and I did an interview based on his book.
Based on the book. They missed the book part, though.
They missed the book
They
part.
missed that in the book.
The book was already on Amazon. There's
Right.
links to the Amazon book in that first clip. So apart from that, people like to say that I'm involved in this person's arrest, that person's arrest. You could ask the actual people who I'm being accused of, and they'll say that Vlad had nothing to do with it. Taxstone, Vlad had nothing to do with it. Casanova 2 times, Vlad had nothing to do with it. You could go on and on and on and on. All these people, if they decide to do crimes after my interview is complete.
Hey, did LeBron win or did he lose? I heard LeBron just lost.